Today we are going to render this living room. This is our final rendering. And this is our scene in this D5. In a minute, I'm going to redo the rendering. Okay, let's get started. The first thing we need to do is start D5. Now we just wait. New project. Create a new scene. Let's go out and have a look what's going on. As you can see, we have this terrain here and the D5 default setting. But this is our scene and we don't want this terrain, so we will just click here and delete. Let's go back to our scene. It looks much better. Now we need to lower the exposure. Let's turn off auto exposure and manually lower the exposure to very dark. Let's update the scene. The reason we need to make this scene this dark is because we want to place our light so that we can see the effects. But before we place our light, we need to change HDR. I want to use a custom HDR. You can find this on my Patreon, Pure Studio 6. And let's update. Now let's create a rectangular line. Let's put a light in the middle of the opening. Scale the lights so the lights will be a little bigger than the opening. Let's move it out a little bit. Go back to the scene. Maximize this radius. You can see right now the light can reach all the way to this wall. The next step is to create sunlight. Create sunlight is really easy. You just turn on this sun, and then we can go all the way down here and use custom so we can have full control of the sun. And let's change this altitude to 10 and then rotate the sun to a position we see fit. Yes, this is much better. Time to update the scene. When you change anything here, you need to update the scene. Otherwise, it will just go back to the default. Right now, the edge of the shadow is too sharp, so we need to do something to make it blurry. Let's go to here and change the sun disk radius to 10. Now this one looks much better. Let's update. The next step is to create some artificial light. We want to use spotlight. Just put it above the chair. Let's go to top view. Change the display to wireframe. Let's position the light to the center of the chair. copy another one above another chair, and also one more above the couch. Go back to the scene. Let's select all the spotlight and group it. Now we can change the property of these spotlights. The first thing we need to change is the temperature. We want a warm color. Now we have a really great contrast of those warm artificial spotlights and the sunlight. It's time to adjust our material setting. Let's start with the wall. Select the wall and change the roughness to 1. Do the same for this wall. Change the roughness to 1. Also, we need to change the color of this wall because right now it's a little too dark. Let's go to select the curtain and change this to cloth. Also, change the base color to a white color. And adjust the roughness to 1. Let's close this color. Select the floor, and the default roughness is quite good, but we just need to add a normal mat to this floor. Let's select wood and select this one and change the normal intensity to 1 so we can see the texture here. Obviously, right now it's too big and we need to adjust it. And open more setting, turn on individual UV. Let's increase this value to 5. Right now, the normal mag is too much. Let's change to 0.2. Select the carpet. The carpet and this couch are using the same material. Change the roughness to 1, and then we need a normal map. Open fabric. Select this one. In order to see the effect, we need to increase this normal value to 1. It's too big now. Let's open more settings. Open individual UV. Change this to 5, maybe. For the final rendering, we will change this normal map intensity to 0.5. The carpet right now is a little too bright. We need to change its color. Select chairs. Add a normal map. Increase to 0.5. We can see the texture now. Select the marble and change the roughness to 0.2. Select this and change this to metallic and roughness to 0, and change the color to a gold color. Select the glass and change the base color to pure white. Let's do the same for this glass. Pure white. Go back to the scene. I think we are ready for the next step. Let's change exposure. Also suppress the highlight. The highlight is the brightest in our image. So we need to change a proper value. 0.2 is a good value. And let's increase the shadow exposure. 0.3. Increase the contrast to 0.2. Change the white balance to a warm color. 7000. And also change the tint. I like this better. Maybe add a little saturation. 0.1. And apply a lot. A lot is a filter. Just like a filter in Instagram. I will use a custom filter. You can find this filter on my Patreon. Let's change the warm blood. Intensity is too much now. We can find a balance. 0.2. Let's update the scene, so all those changes will be safe in our scene. The color of the chairs stands out too much. Let's change it. Let's lower the saturation. Before we export the final rendering, we need to adjust the camera setting. Select 2-point perspective and change the aspect ratio to 16:9. And change the movement speed to 1, so we can fine-tune the view. Adjust the view now. Update the scene and exit the camera setting. Now we export. Select 2K and this is our final rendering. Maybe the lights above the chair is a little too bright. We can lower it. But for the sake of this tutorial, I will just leave it as it is now. That's all for the tutorial. If you want, you can support me on Patreon. Goodbye.